Noise. Chapter 1. Vow of Silence. We see a clean-cut and shaven Ryan Quinn exiting his cabin. It was a beautiful 4-bedroom cabin out in the wilderness surrounded by picturesque foliage, accompanied by a small lake adjacent to his Jeep. Ryan breathes in the fresh and wholesome forest air with his eyes closed. He calls his dog over and tells him to hold down the fort while he picks up Harley from school. The buff and girthy bulldog, still acquiescent to Ryan's militant dog training, finds a spot on the deck and secures it by plopping down on its belly. Ryan laughs and thinks to himself he knows the feeling. Ryan Quinn is an ex-military operative who has gone rogue for reasons unknown to us, but what we do know is that he traded that life for one that involves his daughter. He hops in the Jeep, and before he pulls off, he notices his front door to the cabin is wide open. Puzzled, Ryan pauses as he's sworn he closed it. His dog looks agitated while growling and looking inside of the home, then outside, then inside, as if watching something run in and out of the home. Ryan walks up to the door, takes a peek inside first, then closes the door completely this time. He then calms his dog before heading out to pick up his daughter, Harley. We descend from the clouds and watch Ryan's Jeep cruise down the forested mountainside. Ryan often drove with the music off so he could enjoy the peace and quiet sounds of nature. Ryan pulls down his shades a bit to confirm what he was seeing was real. He notices the sky was painted orange. It was only 4 p.m. It was beautiful but odd, Ryan thought, when suddenly he is forced to slam on his brakes as several bears, deer, mountain lions, and hundreds of various woodland creatures come sprinting across the street all together as if fleeing something. It was the strangest thing Ryan has ever seen. Ryan takes pictures with the flash off as not to get the attention of the animals to show his daughter. We cut to Ryan pulling up to his daughter's elementary school, which is surrounded by police vehicles, and officers can be seen escorting a crazy-looking woman out in cuffs, her hands bloody. Ryan squints his eyes and notices it is the school's nurse, Betty Carlson, one of the nicest people in the faculty. What was wrong with her? She looked absolutely nuts. Ryan gets out of the car as the other parents look at him with a look of sorrow as they hold their own kids tight. The school principal walks up to him with a similar look, and Ryan's brain starts ticking when he sees the paramedics wheeling out a covered stretcher occupied by a small body, and Ryan darts toward it, past the principal screaming out his daughter's name. The principal grabs Ryan as he passes and tells him his daughter will be fine, and he points out his daughter in the crowd of officers. Ryan runs over to her, hugging and kissing her while asking everyone what happened. Her face slightly scraped and her lip bleeding. What happened? Ryan demands answers from the officers, the faculty, and the principal. The principal explains that the nurse went crazy and murdered one of the students, then attacked his daughter. Just as he learns this, the crazy nurse slams her head through the backseat window of the police car, busting her own head open in the process as she begins to scream Harley's name, then makes pig sounds while laughing like a maniac. The officers pull her out of the vehicle and attempt to put the woman in a police truck, but results in the woman being shot dead in front of all of the students. Harley screams. We cut to later that night. We see Ryan carrying his daughter into the cabin and lays her down on the couch before the fireplace. She is sleeping and likely exhausted from all of the excitement, crying, and questioning from the tragedy. Ryan leans over and kisses her on the forehead. She awakens and jumps in his arms. She was still frightened, he can tell, The way the officers described the crazy woman's actions, he could only imagine how scared she was. Ryan picks up Harley and sits in a recliner with her. They both fall asleep by the fire. Next morning, Ryan wakes up unusually late, about 1 p.m. Ryan's biological clock has him up 4 a.m. ready to hunt breakfast every morning, but today was different. More importantly, his daughter not only wasn't in his arms, but nowhere to be found. Ryan listens first to the quiet. And hears nothing. He runs over to the front window and sees the same police car from yesterday parked, with all the doors open, including the same back window that was smashed. Beside the vehicle, he sees his bulldog laying dead with its jaws ripped open and bite marks all over its body as if it was attacked by an animal. Ryan turns and sees his daughter standing in the hallway. She greets him with a good morning in sign language. When suddenly, the crazy nurse Betty Carlson from her school appears in the window, making an odd pig sound. Before Ryan can move a muscle, the nurse leaps through the window with a butcher knife straight for Ryan's daughter. Everything goes black. We cut to Ryan laying in the living room holding his daughter in his arms in a pool of blood that was not his own.